Morning.
Yep. Gotta send a note to the team.
So, February, I
It
think
is.
today
Yeah,
is
I think
the
it's the
beginning of
first.
Chinese New Year.
Oh, is that okay?
Or maybe it's
Fair enough.
tomorrow. I'm not sure.
I'm not qualified to have an opinion about that.
Yeah, I like it. It's the year of the tiger. I mean, I'm excited.
That's fun. I mean, because we're gonna need some tiger energy up in this freaking shit, man.
Are you gonna make us play like weird commercials again, like the Tony the Tiger? They're great.
Yes, I definitely would not have thought of that until you said it. The fucking zest thing was objectively funny.
Yeah, it was really good.
That was good stuff.
I
That's
like
good
it.
stuff.
It's funny because I
So,
brought that up the next day in my real life, and everyone like remembered it. They're like, I think they all
right?
went home and
It
watched
was like indelibly burned into all of our brains as kids.
Right. And so, yeah, I think that's an interesting concept when you look at marketing, right? Like we used to grow up watching TV, Saturday morning cartoons, the parents, news, and things like that. Now everyone's in the metaverse.
Getting all of our friends are in the metaverse. Well, it's. I wonder too, like because there were so many fewer channels, and they're using the mirror effect. Google it, MERE, to such great effect, and everyone's trying to do that now. But there's so much more noise. So I wonder if there's anything that will be around long enough and repeated enough times to really burn into people's consciousness in the same way that we probably saw that commercial say, I don't know, 10,000 times, some ridiculous number, right? But the max now is probably much shorter, right? Like you would imagine, like marketing campaigns are a little bit lower. Now, granted, like right off the top of my head, the fucking Geico lizard.
Yeah.
Right? Like there are like they do these through lines that become sort of cultural touch points. Anyway, that's why people show up for this show so that we can have really nerdy conversations around the freaking mirror effect.
No, but like I think it's interesting though, like, and I think it applies because these days a lot of people they don't even watch commercials because they're tied to Netflix, they're tied to YouTube, right?
Sure. Yeah.
And so like if they see, I watched TV for the first time, like in Japan, in forever when I was at the in-laws place a couple weeks ago, and there were commercials popping up for like Bitcoin exchanges on the TV all over the place, and I was like, huh?
Yeah.
Like,
it's a brand new world.
Like,
freaking Matt Damon. Matt Damon's doing like a crypto.com one.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and it's like fortune favors the brave, which for the record is not the quote. It's fortune favors the bold, but whatever. You do you crypto.com. But the FTX arena down here in Miami, like it's this is not 2018. Which is why like I know there's some people that are like, oh man, the bear market's here. I just don't buy it. And like I could be wrong, right? Like this is anything where anybody's prognosticating, especially me, take it with a giant block of salt. It just doesn't feel like it's even remotely possible that this bull market is over now.
Well, I mean, we did lose some value, but like every time we lose any value, people freak out, right? But anyway, like what I wanted to say was I just can't wait till we have our next event. Because like that Coliseum event was pretty cool, but what happens when we have all of these advertisements ringing the Coliseum, right? Like what if we have like billboards like along the walkway to the Coliseum? Like I want to do like a proper, like dude, seriously, we should do like a proper like British football event, right? Where like we have 2 train lines and like people can take the train in and like, some of them are the red team, some of them are the blue team, but then like on the way into the stadium, there's like PvP and they're like, the police have to filter them in different directions. Like we could have our whole own like football factory experience in the UpLift. Dude, it would be really good.
You get to run the organization of that, and then I'm in. Enjoy that.
Yeah, that's gonna be.
Quick update though on everything, guys. Again, like still, buybacks going ahead. All that stuff has moved from. Will they, won't they, uncertainty to just how now, which it's a lot more comfortable for me. I know nobody needs this level of update, but I actually slept like 10 hours last night, which makes up for the last 2 weeks of barely sleeping at all, which was great. So our mission right now to complete the buyback, we need to raise another 250K cash to fire over to them. I put in a big chunk couple other people put in a little bit. I think we still have about 180 that we need to bring in. So a couple of things that we're doing for that. We are, going out and talking to a few people about, buying some NFTs that will mean they get a big chunk of DAO tokens. And we're specifically going after strategic partners that we would love to have, owning, 1, 2, or 3% of the DAO tokens, just to hear in the space, right? We're not talking to kind of just anybody. And on the flip side, we're doing the support the DAO NFT line. Because we had this room, we still do, with all the gallery builders and Mitzi that makes those quests, and we've got KindCoin in there from the Raceway, just people that are kind of building kind of epic things in the space. And they immediately started saying like, hey, like, why don't we take some pictures or some video and we can make some NFTs and sell the NFTs, and hopefully that will raise a little bit towards what you guys need to do. And the idea just took fire, right? So we've got a drop that is going to start tomorrow. And it's, basic, if anybody wants to help us raise this, they totally can. There's going to be some really, really cool NFTs in there. We're promoting and lifting up all these, gallery builders and stuff. Again, if you don't want to, like, you don't have to, right? We're not telling everyone you need to do this at all. It's just like, if you want to help us be part of this and frankly, in my opinion, get a piece of history. Again, there's going to be really, really freaking awesome NFTs from, some of the most historical early builds in the UpLift. So that part's gonna be fun. So we're gonna start that tomorrow. And honestly, like, I think once we get over the edge and have the 250 done, I personally feel like that collection or a collection like it needs to keep around, right? Like, and obviously we're gonna have to rebuild the rewards pool and doing just kind of whatever would support the DAO, but having an NFT line, Jimmy, that would be there to promote the galleries and different things. And instead of they're basically letting us take all the primary revenue for raising this chunk of cash that we need to kind of finish this off. But down the road, like, I'd love to be in a position where we're doing something to support the DAO, but these galleries could like collab with us to do a really cool NFT and make money from it, right? Like, not only now, but like secondary as well. And have it just be this thing where we can really celebrate the builds that are coming out of the UpLift in a its own kind of collection that serves the DAO, whether it's rewards pool or whatever we all kind of decide it should go to. So anyway, it's just amazing energy around that right now. I'm getting really excited about it. I think we were gonna do it today, but I think we're gonna launch it tomorrow, just so we can kind of get our ducks in a row a little bit. Like, look at us growing up, Jimmy. Like, remember when we were just like, hey, we got duct tape, fucking launch it tomorrow, right? We did every time. We went a little bit early on just about everything. So we're taking another 24 hours to kind of, dot the I's and cross the T's.
Well, and just to rehash that one thing again, like, for the majority of people, they understand what's going on. But there were a couple comments I saw earlier today and we addressed yesterday. It's like, well, I already bought land. I already bought all this stuff. Like, why do I have to buy more? Well, you don't. Honestly, right. Like, you don't. Like, nothing happens to your land. Don't. Like, you can just sit. You can just sit on it. You can just sit on whatever you have. You can keep building. Right. Like, there is no need for you to do that if you don't want to. And if you want to, that's great, right? Like Corey said, you can own a piece of history. You can own some of these cool NFTs, some of these cool videos. Like, and I just want people to understand that, right? Like, we're not. Not trying to swindle people out of more money. If anything, we're trying to give as much value back to you as we possibly can right now and at this point in time, right? And hopefully, for all time.
People, hey, Rocket Kelly, speaking of gallery builder extraordinaire, like the idea that you guys are producing things that are so amazing. Having a collection that celebrates all that stuff that turns around and supports the whole ecosystem, and you guys specifically, right? Like, there should be a way for us to turn that into resources and capital for you guys, because you're making amazing stuff. So anyway, that's been on my mind. Yeah, so February, man, like, I have dreams now of finishing off. We have to get the odds and ends sale started. We still have to figure out when we're going to be able to do that. But then, getting to the point where we can at least get the staff, the team, something, right? We probably won't be able to pay everybody what they were getting paid last month, which sucks, but maybe, who knows, right? But like, we'll at least be able to hold everything together, which is fun and awesome. But then getting to the point where, like, we could be launching the DAO token itself itself as early as the end of the month, right? We just need to get this purchase agreement, done, signed, delivered, completely and totally carved out. I did talk to a lawyer yesterday who works on contract laws, suggesting that this turnaround might be a little aggressive, which shouldn't shock anyone probably. So I have to kind of set my expectations, right? I was hoping that we could get this done really, really quickly. That might just not be a thing because it's kind of a big deal, and we're going to have to really make sure that we are just checking everything, right? Just to make sure that we're going to be okay and can't sort of I don't know, get stumbled up on something or whatever. But like things are moving, so that's kind of just fills me with so much peace compared to where we were at a week ago.
Yeah, and I think I'm excited to see the future of what we do, of what UpDate does, what everybody does, right? Like it's going to be really great to build this again. Not again, but like more. I don't know.
Right.
It's
that's
weird.
the thing. Like we're starting from scratch, right? We're starting from scratch as far as like runway and stuff, but like look at the beast that we've built. And like there's a million ways this could have happened in like whatever, but like it might not have happened, unless it all happened this way. So like I keep trying to like think about it in that way, and we're definitely going to be positioned to do thousands of times more than what we could do before. So it's amazing, right? Like starting gun goes off, the whole team's here and ready to rock and roll, and we know we can do pretty well, and we're going to be much. We're going to be really amazing stewards of the capital that we bring in. That's just sort of something we're deeply committed to.
Speaking of deeply committed, we should do some gratitudes.
We should do some gratitudes.
And yeah, I mean, we should also do this because, like, even though, just do it. It's like it's become
I believe.
Thing now.
Yeah, it's a.
Speaking of EOSIO Weekly, I'm kind of excited. We're going to be hosting John Heater of Boyd, and he has Power Up over on the Crypto Rider channel, I believe, this Thursday evening, I think around 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Is the plan for our first kind of reboot this year of actually we're going to call it our podcast is going to be called EOS Writer. We're going to go back to the foundations, and we're going to basically talk to all the EOS people in the space. There's tons of things going on there. There's Evelyn Rose is doing some insane stuff. Like he's got a whole new series called Rants. Like there's new white papers coming out. There's Clarion building up stuff. I'm kind of excited to go back. So, I mean, it's funny that, we play that every week and we're not even EOSIO Weekly anymore, but we're kind of going to go back to our foundations with that too, right? So it's going to be
right. All right. Getting mellow on the board. What are you grateful for there, Jimmy D?
It's a bit of a tough one for me today. So actually, I'm having a really weird month. Like a lot of stuff with this, a lot of stuff with other things, like a lot of stuff with other businesses. But I've had a lot of friends that have come out and helped me. But today, I actually took my daughter and we went about a 15-minute walk from here. We went to a hospital. One of my best friends, his son, is about 10, and they found a tumor in his spinal cord. And, they could only get about 50% out. It was benign. The doctors wasted a lot of time. It was the first time I saw him. He kind of used to be a student of mine. And we saw him through the glass, and we gave him a gift. And he was just so happy. So yeah, I'm just I'm grateful for life today because of that. Like it it's not an easy situation for them. They've got to come up with some money and help their son. And when you think about it, like we're all in the words of Corey, somehow we've forgotten about our dumb monkey brains because like we're so spoiled. Like we get stuck in places. And, at the end of the day, we're all just really trying to survive. And I think if you can make another person happy and you can be reminded of how bad things could possibly be, then the other side of that and what we often complain about doesn't always ring true. So I'm just grateful for gratitude, but most importantly, I'm just grateful for, understanding life. I'm going to do too.
Okay. All right. So I'm grateful for life. I'm sorry. And then gratitudes. Yeah. Something.
Yeah. That's fine. No,
what's your second one? Do a second one.
I thought I did do two already. I'm grateful for. I don't know. I'm grateful for. Damn it! Now I gotta think.
All right, I'll get Rocket Gallery while you're at it. Awesome sauce.
Grateful for Drive.
Nope. Like it. Roger and Rocket Gallery grateful for perspective. I'm just gonna put them both in there because we can. Take a little bit of license for this. I'm not gonna lie. All right. Grateful for fond memories. The Rob Flasca. I'm grateful for Rob Flaxa. Oh my god.
Yeah, Rob's pretty. He's pretty stand-up dude, man.
Me yesterday with some awesome stuff, and really, this is gonna get.
If you happen to have time to go over to where we hide all the alpha.com and check out our latest feature, exhibition spotlight. We did a little piece on the monochrome photography of class art up in the Vine, and we had a little peek into his new gallery, which is pretty sweet actually. That little that little like double entrance foyer with like the water in the center of the floor and the turtle swimming inside with coral. That's pretty cool, man. Well done. It's some pretty cool art. If you get the chance, go check it out. It's you have to make sure that you have the right shaders though, because it's a black and white piece. And actually, when I went and looked at it, it wasn't black and white, which is kind of interesting. It reminds me of, speaking of old television commercials, when we used to have a black and white TV and we used to think that we saw color. Like it's pretty good, but it was good. It was really, really interesting. I'm excited to see what the new gallery brings. The plan for that one is it's going to be the Zoom gallery, and I heard that it's going to be focused on photography, which is really cool because we don't have.
That's really cool, right? Indeed.
Also, if you have the chance to go and check out what the Rocket Gallery has been doing as well, they've got some new things coming out and always putting new stuff up. We'll release a post soon, but there's some pretty cool stuff. And if you guys have any builds that you want us to check out or anything, drop them in the comments. Drop the coordinates in the comments.
For reals. For reals.
Hey, class. He's a horse thief. Wow.
That's the whole thing.
Yeah, I agree. So I actually, I'm a little bit of an amateur photographer. I used to take a lot of them pictures when I traveled and stuff like that. It's actually really hard, I think, to get your photographs, at least on wax, verified. So I'd like to see more of that.
But they do it on. Why not just go to Neffy?
Oh yeah, so I think they might too, but like
okay,
I
know Atomic had something weird, like they were just like it didn't like photography for some reason. Which
I kind of understand why. Like I think if you're a known person and you can prove that they're your photographs, but I think wouldn't
that be kind of true for everything though?
Yeah, well, exactly right. But I think that's why the verification process for even art is so bad, because you have to send them like a bunch of weird stuff, and I don't know. Like I dislike it, but at the same time, I don't see it out of line, right? Because like I want artists to be supported, right? Like I want people to be able to get paid for their craft, right? So we were talking about this. We did a little bit of a pop-up last night with General Moses, aka over on the Shift, and we had some real estate people come in, and we were talking about NFTs. And it's funny because like they were kind of talking about art NFTs and things like this on Ethereum, and they were kind of new to wax, and I think like I would really like to see a better way to right. Like this is a really bad analogy, but like in the real world, there's diamonds and there's not blood diamonds, right? And so like how do we verify that like these pieces of art are truly yours, right? And I think that there's some interesting ideas around it, but I think maybe the first step is to be able to match that in the metaverse with pictures of your NFTs and like tell the story, right, on where we hide all the alpha.com. And if you go actually to the class art gallery, which is 2500 right in the center of the Genesis map, like down on the second floor down, I believe, there's a little information stamp that class put up, and it basically tells the whole story of like how he got into crypto, how he got into NFTs, how he became an artist, like all of this stuff. And I kind of like that. Like that's a really cool experience to be able to see right here in the
well, and it builds up a history too, right? Because like anyone can copy sort of anything that's copyable, but you can't copy the class wax wallet that owns that land, that's connected to that story, that is connected to the history of that story, and we know exactly when that was, and you could track it back in time and see it, right? So somebody comes in a month from now and like tries to copy literally everything, and they rebuild the entire thing the same way, yada yada yada. You're not going to be able to, like, we're going to know, right? Everyone's going to know. Well, was it attached to class's wax wallet? No. Has it been around for a long time? No, because we know when it's been around. Like, so we're encoding those things into the right. You can't copy the story, and you can't copy the story that's been tagged to the timeline of all the different elements that can be tracked back to the blockchain. So photography, animation, whatever, it shouldn't matter, right?
Yeah, I mean it's amazing because we can see the whole history. I mean, you still have to look for it, and you still have to. I mean, you can still tell stories that like maybe aren't true, but at least it's there, right? The history is there. And
it's like Max's curio cards, right? Like that, like some of the first, or if not the first NFT line period, right? And they thought punks were the first, yada yada. They finally did some digging. Again, it's blockchain, right? And found these earlier ones, and those curio cards are like worth bank, right? Like that, and stories like that, like value is going to absolutely be associated for like when it got started in the context of it, and be able to sort of piece that together. like normal paintings, like the whole billion-dollar industry around verifying, art to be accurate, right? Whereas now, like, I think it's going to be a lot easier. It's just way easier. Like, if you can prove that class, as an artist, or that any one particular artist is connected to a wax count, and this is where like KYC, is probably going to come into it at some point. That it'll be bulletproof after that.
Yeah, there were some really interesting ideas early on how you could have like a social proof without actually revealing your identity. So I'm kind of always interested in that. But I think that we're kind of a far away from that. And I mean,
what a social proof without revealing your identity? So basically, like a social proof that you are the fake person that you say that you are, right? Like, what's the point? I get like the whole anonymity thing. Like, I know that's like like internet. Like, we want to be able to sort of be whoever we want to be. I don't know. I kind of lean towards just like, you're a person. We could just do that. But I could be wrong about that too.
Well, I mean, yeah, and I think it goes back to like the whole idea of just being semi-anonymous, right? Like, if you want to, I mean, you can track anything really, and you can go to court and you can say anything. I mean, what's his name? The Bitcoin Cash dude pretty much proved that, right? Like, he's Bitcoin, Satoshi. But like, it's interesting because like he won that case, but like nobody believes him.
Wainwright. That wasn't even Bitcoin Cash. That was
sorry, it was Fake Toshi from
Fake Toshi. Well, this is the thing. Was it right? Was it whatever his name was? And like, it turns out that like they just ruled that like, no, that's Satoshi. What?
Yeah. I know that like
also
nobody,
there's aliens. Okay,
right?
Cool.
No, nobody even paid attention to it. So.
Yeah, that hit with a resounding, very quiet thud.
Right, and I like,
right. Thanks. Nailed it.
But I'm excited to see. Like we were chatting earlier, like about the bull, about the bear. Like, does it really even matter anymore? Like, I mean, I don't know, man. I look outside sometimes, and we've been going through a rough couple of years, society in general, and like some countries are faring better than others. It depends on the country that you're in. But some people are actually making more money than they were when they were open for business, if they're getting the right government handouts, right? It's interesting for me to look out and around and see like countries like England and countries like Japan and all of these countries and the way that people are dealing with it, and think about like how just in general people are just so sick and tired of not being able to live their normal life, right?
Yeah.
But when we look at a lot of what's happening in the metaverse in here, we don't see that, right? Like, we see all these artists who are coming in who are having better experiences than they might even in the real world if there wasn't any of this mess, right? They're meeting new people, they're building galleries, they're like collaborating with people who like they've never met, right? And I think that's like pretty amazing, right? So, I mean, two sides of the same dirty penny that you find in the gutter, but one of them can kind of be polished and held up and put in a little box to like keep it as a collector's token, and the other one is just like, I want to go back so that I can make money, so that I can work 9 to 5 and I can do all this stuff all day again, right? And when that happens in 2 years, prices are going to go up, all this other stuff is going to happen. So I just want people to understand the value of the UpLift world, but any metaverse, really, like any NFT, really, like any of that kind of stuff. So if you guys have like other people that you want to introduce us to on this channel, please do. If you've got artists who are making NFTs in your galleries, and they want to come and join us and talk about NFTs, like, have them come on, have them contact us, right? If you're doing awesome builds and you want to come in and show them off, like, we had a couple of people mail us, can we come and hang out for Monday morning and chill in the UpLift? Yeah, go for it. Like, come and be a part of this, right? If you've got a favorite project that like doesn't have or doesn't know anything about the UpLift, and you know, you want to invite them on so that we can give them the grand live tour. Like any of that stuff is in the cards. It's in the books, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it was about a year ago when we started giving our first tours. We haven't done that in a while, but like we used to do that. That was a thing, right? So,
yeah, that's I'm looking really forward to doing a bunch of tours. This is the other thing we're gonna have to do with like all the people that, you know, all the projects that have expressed some interest with, you know, booting up the Polygon ecosystem. And, you know, even, you know, when we start, you know, doing this EOS focused show for EOS Writer or Crypto Writer or whatever, getting to the point where, you know, it's like every interview is going to be another demo again, right? Because I mean, like the idea that, you know, there will be, you know, an EOS NFT based little world to start them off over there is, you know, I think it's inevitable, right? It's only a matter of time. And it's just, it allows us to bring more people into our ecosystem, more projects into the ecosystem, which brings, you know, all their, you know, fans and family into the ecosystem. It's just, you know, it's the way that we, you know, 2, 3, 4, 5x the number of awesome people in our space in the next year. Thanks for hanging, Rocket Gallery. You are the best.
Yeah, it was quite interesting, the conversation that we had yesterday. It's pretty late for me. It's a little bit refreshed too. But the people, they're kind of new to NFTs,
right?
And they're real estate people, and it got me thinking, like, how many people out there are artists that are still new to NFTs, and like I think that there are some galleries in the UpLift that have put up art by people who don't even have their own NFT line yet, right? And that's really cool. Like when they see them on Twitter and they're like, wow, that looks so cool. Like those are really cool ideas, right? They don't necessarily even have to be crypto projects. They can just be, you know, artists in your neighborhood.
In your hood.
Right.
I don't know why that was that interesting.
That's way better than what was in my head because it was a weird Sesame Street song from like years ago.
Wow. Okay. All right.
I don't know why. We don't even watch TV, right? Like,
what we definitely know is that you're not fully clean until you're zestfully clean. See what I did there, Jimmy?
Yeah.
See what I did? See what I did there? Yeah.
I think we need a zestfully clean.
You think we need to watch
monument
again?
in the in the UpLift.
Oh no. Oh man. Oh, so you know, I think we're just gonna be all right, Jimmy. There's tons of details. I think my blood pressure is not insane right now, which I definitely could not have said last week. Hey, let's talk about our NFT line. We're launching the show's NFT line this year. How many times have we talked about doing that? 8 trillion times.
Yep.
I should say, anybody who's paying attention to Blue Dack, I have tasked Bullshit Pulse with sort of, you know, helping us to organize things for this month because obviously I'm laser focused on the UpLift right now, getting all this stuff squared away. New pools are coming. And we got Bag Gifter in the working group in Telegram right now, so we're going to be transferring all the like his. Basically, we're going to have him rebuild our front end so it looks like his front end, which is much better than our front end for our own fucking shit, which is hilarious. But yeah, we got like some awesome new data analytics going on the back end. Like it's just that stuff's moving. I you know, part of my game plan for this year is to actually ask for help more often. And it was actually Bullshit Bulls that freaking told me to do it. So I said, cool, you think about Blue Dack at least as much as I do. Do you want to come help? And he totally did. And it's working out really, really good. So yeah, we're going to get our ducks in a row over there, even while all this stuff is going on at the UpLift. Because again, we just have super amazing people around us. And I'm committed this year to becoming much better at you know, asking for help, I guess. Yeah. So that's happening.
I'm pretty excited about our NFT line. We're gonna do we're gonna do something that like nobody on Wax has done before. That's all I can say about it.
Go on.
No, that's it.
That's it. That's all you can say about it. Shit. I really want you to say more. You cannot.
No, I can't.
Okay.
It's really, really interesting. Like it's sometimes things are worth the wait, right? I mean, I showed one of our caricatures to the person who is that character in real life, and I said, you can't leak this to anyone. And he was already like taking photos of his like cell phone and sending this to my girlfriend, like, and but it was pretty funny. Like there were it
was Austin Linney.
Yeah. And there were things there that he's like, hey dude, like they've never seen me with my shirt off, and like that's almost perfect. It's like, all right. It's like there were things there that like were baked in that like it's just you can tell who people are. I'm gonna go like all weird here, but like if you actually listen, I think to the way people act or the things that they say and the things that they do, we all make mistakes, but you can tell who they are. And there's a lot of really good people who show up on the show and come and hang out with us. And that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna feature them all as best as we can in our NFT line. We're gonna put those out there. We've got a few ideas around it, but I'm not sure exactly how many people we have featured for the first one, but like basically, yeah, it's going to be really cool. So I'm excited. I don't know when it's going to roll out.
It's going to be fun.
And give some away, maybe,
Yeah, for sure. But then like that leaves us open because we have, just for anybody who doesn't know, we have Max Life and I think they brought somebody in as well to kind of run it up, because like the one thing again, like we needed to ask for help. The one thing we knew is like we couldn't take on another project to do. We just knew that like there's so many opportunities for collabs with the show. They're like, I mean, how do we not have our own NFT line? That's just ridiculous. So they've come in and they had like a bunch of ideas besides, and I think it's gonna give us an outlet to be doing some really cool NFTs. And obviously, if anybody wants to do a collab or if has any ideas, like we need to get the basic stuff running out. But then we're just gonna be able to do shit, right? Which I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. And we're not going to try and make $18 trillion off it or anything like that. It's just something that we'll be here to support the show and support people that are coming into the show too, because collabs and shit.
Yeah, I mean, and believe it or not, like most of this we just do in our free time because we like it. But we should probably get a little bit better at it. like not that we need to get better at it because we do.
No, but I feel like upping our game, like we're here, we might as well improve a little bit all the time, right?
Yeah, right. And I mean, I like the fact that we don't. I like the fact that we, use catchy taglines and get people to come in and have 1 million viewers that pump our fake shit. But at the same time, we still need to make sure that we're representing the world, the show, our friends, all the projects in Wax. Because like someday,
that's the goal for sure.
I don't even think that we're going to have to do any advertising like when Wax takes over the world.
We were there at the beginning. Yeah.
How many people are going to be led here, right?
Sometimes I look at like, it's easy to red team, right? Like what's the worst thing that can happen? And in everything I do, like we talk about risk analysis all the time, right? I sort of like what's the worst thing that can happen? Now you do the best and coolest possible thing within that framework, just because it's sort of cautious or whatever. Then I started thinking like, what's the craziest thing that can happen in Wax? Like if never mind all the sort of, stuff that could go wrong. Like what if Wax realized like a significant percentage of its actual vision? Top 5 cryptocurrency. Flat out, right? $100 Wax. Like there's dumber things that happen all the time in crypto. Like that's right. Like it's just like, and again, like there's a long road between here and there. Maybe a decade, who knows, right? But that, the idea that the foundation that has been now set up, all the projects that are running on Wax and all the ways that, they're starting to do marketing and leaning into games, which I think is really smart, just because the blockchain can actually handle it. Yeah, I think it's a really interesting space to be in, right? Because like, it's funny. There were some people who shall remain nameless who started talking to me about like wanted to move their projects fully to Solana 2 weeks ago. Like, oh my goodness, we're going to move completely over to Solana. Everything's going to be amazing. And I was like, are you sure you want to do that? Oh, and there's so much liquidity over there. It just means there's a lot of money over there. and they've got some really cool stuff, and like our dev took a look at the thing. It's gonna be really awesome. Like, I mean, okay, right? And going multi-chain, I'm always for going multi-chain. I think that's always a good idea. Like, our focus is on Wax, but we want to be everywhere. It's kind of would be crazy if you didn't try to have some kind of footprint everywhere. But like a total pivot, like what if something goes wrong? And 2 days later, Solana goes down and like stays down for like 4 days.
It's been down for a long time.
It's like, like the how battle tested Wax is, and all of EOSIO actually cannot be overstated, right? Like you look at those charts that come out, people don't even believe them. I don't even think people could process the fact that Wax is doing more transactions than everyone else combined, right? Just all the time, easily. Right when my buddy Brad from DeFi Lunch, came over and was kind of hanging out, and he did like his first Blue DAC transaction or was on Alcor or something. He's like, "Wait a minute, what just happened?" Like, dude, that was the transaction. Yeah, but it's already done. Yeah, what do you mean? Right. You do it anywhere else, right? You do Polygon, Ethereum, wherever. Like you're waiting minutes before anything happens, right? And here we're so conditioned to like click, and then like the blockchain blinks and it's not. Like, oh. Which we're just spoiled and we're used to it now. I mean, other blockchains are going to figure this out, right? There's so much financial interest in, getting to the point where Wax already is, that other people are going to do it, right? There's no walled garden around this. However, watching the network effect, to me is really critical, right? You can have lots of projects building everywhere, but when those projects are starting to intermingle, right? Like Ethereum is sort of the best example of this now. There's more projects on Ethereum than on Wax right now, right? Now, granted, they're all PFP projects that are cookie cutter projects of each other. Not all. I know there's other stuff there, right? But they're of a kind for the most part, right? But it's a huge network effect, right? And like we experience the other side of that network effect all the time because people come over to Wax and they're like, well, they get the tech and they get how awesome that is and yada yada yada. But there's none of their people there, right? There's none of the sort of intermingled ecosystem of projects and people that they kind of know and understand and whatever. Same kind of thing that we experience on Wax now too, right? So it's going to be interesting to the people that start looking at how to intermingle those. And those people, by the way, are us. We've got some really fun plans on how to start doing that, right? Smaller circles, figure out how to do it, one person, one project, 2 projects at a time. That's going to be sort of the interesting part of the work going forward, developing some sort of actual interconnections between projects. Like it's one thing if you build a bridge that works, but who cares unless there's a reason to use it.
Right. Yeah. And like EOS was a really good example about that. Like I remember about maybe 2 years ago, there was a big focus on like, how amazing EOS was and, how it was going to be great for DeFi and, P network tokens came out and nobody moved their tokens from Ethereum over to EOS just because it was like they were making way more money. There was way more liquidity over there on Ethereum.
Perfect example of the network effect, like raw network effect, right? Mm-hmm. It's infinitely cheaper to do it over here, but if you have no buyers or no sellers, it doesn't matter, right? It's a big challenge.
I mean, there are some definite benefits, I think, like over in EOS. I think it's going to be more beneficial to the institutions than anything, right? Like
maybe,
the ability, and a lot of crypto people get upset about this, but the ability for them to like lock accounts, right? Or stop transfers with 15 out of, it's not centralized. You still need to get those blockchain. I think Eve said it took like 24 hours to get those things from, to get those accounts stopped from that last little hack thing. And there were like thousands of accounts or something like that, right? But like that's kind of a security that I think like centralized institutions need, right? Like it's at
a very basic level. Even that they're going to feel like is an intense risk. But then it's like, how do you marry the very risk averse, entrenched institutional money kind of infrastructure into what we're doing? And so you kind of make trade-offs to blend it up, right? Like we all remember, well, some of us remember Napster and Napster became ultimately iTunes, right? Like, and it's a weird way to think about it, or Spotify or whatever, right? Like that impetus that all music should just be available and free or whatever, became this, a different thing that is this mesh between kind of old business world and this new kind of direction. And, arguably, I mean, Napster and BitTorrent were, cooler than iTunes. Just saying.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah. It's the QWERTY syndrome, right? Like it's nobody wants to learn something new too. I think that's part of it as well, right? Like,
well, right. I say like 80% of the population, if it's easy, they're gonna do it, and if it's not, they will not, right? Like that's always the conversation I have with Luke Stokes over at FIO, right? Like I tried to it's such an amazing idea with FIO, the new name protocol, right? Like you basically have a human readable name. It gets attached to your EOS account, your Ethereum account, your FIO account, whatever, right? Awesome. You need a PhD to set the account up, right? Like I'm not a terrifically intelligent person, but I'm not super stupid. And I spent like a half hour staring at it. And it was honestly, when I tried to sign up for Steam, it was for Hive or whatever, Steam it was the same thing. I'm like, I'm not gonna do horrible, right? Like I'm not gonna do like 5,000 keys to do this. I don't, if it's not simple, no one's gonna do it. And this is the thing, right? Like I'm using myself as the filter. Like I've got a decent tolerance for, coming in and trying new things. But if it's hard even for me, it will never work. Right. Like just and all the education about, being, having your own sovereignty of your own stuff, which I completely and totally agree with. And of course, Luke is one of the most capable educators around that in the world. It won't matter because no one's going to care. If it's easy and free, they're going to do it. And if it's not, they won't. Like even like around the UpLift, right? Like it's there's a lot of, we call it friction, right? There's a lot of steps between, hey, oh my God, I want to try this metaverse out. And it's not like just going to a browser and then like, boom, you're in, right? It's not that simple. And we're going to make it as simple as we possibly can, but there's always going to be need Minecraft Java, right? I shouldn't say always, right? Like there's probably a way in the future that we could figure something interesting out. Actually, I'm doing it in my head right now. But again, but like that friction exists until we figure out ways to limit it, so that onboarding thing can really suck those people in and give them such a valuable experience that they want to keep going. Facebook is like a ridiculously good example of this, right? It's really, really easy to get started, and they hook you in, and then you're the one creating all the content for them.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Like you're spending hours and hours and hours and hours and hours doing all sorts of crazy shit that makes them money.
Right.
It's crazy pants.
Yeah, I'm excited to see where a lot of this stuff goes, like metaverses and things like that go. Like even this whole like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Maxi thing, right? Because I think that's a lot of it. I think a lot of people get into Ethereum, and then they're just like, okay, well, I already figured this out. This is a pain in the ass. I had to open an account. I had to do all this. I had to freak out. Like I didn't know who to trust. I had to find this tutorial. Then I had to go on. Then I had to open a MetaMask. Then I had to do this. Now I have to like check and make sure that I'm, saving my links and going to exchanges. Like, I'm not gonna fucking do that again for Wax. I'm not gonna do that again for Terra. I'm not gonna do that again for Solana. I mean, but little do they realize that like it's not even nearly that difficult. Like even Terra is pretty easy to create a new account, right? Like Solana is not so difficult, right? Like Wax is great. I mean, EOSIO is horrible still because you still have to right? Like, well,
unless you're on Wombat though, right? Like you can like that. So there's people that are really solving the onboarding experience. Wombat is one of my favorite for EOSIO, and of course Adrian is fantastic and cool. Oh, that reminds me, Jimmy, I got to talk to him about, actually, I need to message the team. Say something interesting.
Well, I don't know. Again, I want you guys to, give me work to do. Like, seriously, if you guys have awesome builds or exhibits, send them my way. I'm always kind of like trying to fly around the metaverse, but it's easier to find things in Genesis. So, if you guys have stuff, especially over in UpLift and Wandom, like we'd like to get more features out there on those builds. So, definitely tag us on Twitter and stuff like that too. Cause like, I want to kind of put those together. So also if you guys have any like questions, like, feel free to drop them in the comments, but, we're going to come back, I think tomorrow, and we will have, Michael O'Sullivan from, Bywire News, actually. I believe.
Oh yeah, we've been trying to get that guy for a while, eh?
Yeah, he's had some he's had to cancel a couple times. So, but actually, I think we're gonna do it early if you're okay, Corey.
Yeah. What time?
12 noon UK time. So I believe that'll be 2 hours earlier than normal.
Like 7? Yeah, I think that sounds familiar.
Yeah. So we'll do that tomorrow. Yeah, and that's kind of what we got.
7 a.m.
coming up. So,
hey, apparently I don't live in Hollywood. I live in Dania Beach. That's interesting. I know you guys really needed to know that. There's just like 2 little towns right next to each other. This is not that important. Sorry. When I Googled the time, it said, oh, it's going to be 7 a.m. in Dania Beach. I'm like, thanks, Google. Also, I don't know where I live.
Take me home.
Right? Huh? Do something. Just put me in the thing with the stuff. Oh, man. So, I mean, that's tomorrow.
Jimmy? Yeah, that'll be tomorrow. So
and then that's tomorrow. And then the day after that, I'm going to do the sunrise.
Nice.
Because it's been through this very kinetic time. I've not been doing that. I've just been trying to get as much sleep as possible and failing until the last couple of days. It's like the last couple of days, I legitimately, like, I'm usually up at like 4:35. Like sleeping until 7 feels like just like wag me, Jimmy, wag me.
I need to get better. I need it to get warm so that I can do work outside. That's what I need. Because that's the only time I get anything done. Anyway, I think we'll call it for today. Thanks for dropping in and hanging out with us. Please, like and share this out if you thought any of it was useful. Definitely pop into our social channels and let us know what you think and ask us any questions. And there's a lot of like community engagement going on out there across the board for the UpLift. So thank you all for keeping that up because it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's makes it misty in my house very often over the last couple of weeks. Just the community support that we've been getting. Even when I first started to talk to a few people about the challenge that we were facing, the community support that I got, and the clearly the team just being like, no, we got you, we'll figure it out. We'll figure something out. Was what gave me the confidence to just decide, okay, no matter what it takes, we're just going to make this work, and we are, and that's fucking huge. Garbage.